Hello, I'm the real creator, and, let's try this again. Hello, I'm the queer creator, you can call me Vi, and I am back. Sorry that it's taken this long to get another long-form video out. There were some complications. Here's the full explanation if you want it. But as you can see, in the meantime, my channel has gotten a whole new makeover. I redesigned my persona, invested in an actual microphone, though I'm not sure if you can really tell the difference, and I also changed my channel name. The real creator just kind of felt generic and not very recognizable, so I will henceforth be known as the queer creator instead. But as for the actual video today, I know it's a very popular thing that art YouTubers will do where they'll take a handful of characters from a piece of media they like and give them a redesign, and I thought that could be a bit of a fun thing to try. So today I will be redesigning the main trio of princesses from the Mario games. These characters are very iconic, but their designs are rather simplistic, which isn't a bad thing per se. In fact, simplistic designs can be very effective. However, I feel like these ones could convey a little more about each of their respective characters, especially when it comes to Peach and Daisy, because their outfits are incredibly similar. The princesses' designs aren't bad designs, in fact, I really like them. I just think that it could be fun to give them each some unique spins to their designs to help differentiate them all. So without further ado, let's jump into our first redesign, Princess Peach. Princess Peach is by far the most iconic out of the main trio, so I didn't want to change her too much. She's kind of just the template that the other princesses are based around. The key thing that I wanted to tackle with her is the fact that she is the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. However, that doesn't really read on her design. Nothing about this says mushroom. This is just classic princess, which Peach very much is, but her design could be a little more than that. So the main thing I did with her redesign was to try and bring a little bit more of a mushroom motif. I added the circly mushroom pattern onto the darker part of her skirt, and I also gave her a crown very similar to the Super Crown, which turns Toadette into Peachette. The cushion in the middle is already meant to look like a mushroom, plus the bigger, more fancy crown felt like a better fit with Peach because she's technically a queen and not actually a princess. I also thought about making the lighter pink more pastel and the darker pink more reddish so it would appear almost like her original white and red design that matched the toads. And while I did alter the colors a little bit, I didn't really go that hard with it. I still wanted to keep her more classic pink and feminine look. I still kept her heart bangs, which is a clever design choice, which I didn't even realize was a thing until Bowser pointed it out in the movie. And I also gave her blue gem the same sort of heart-shaped frame that's also in her movie design. Speaking of the movie design, I was trying to remember if the darker pink sleeves was a thing in her game design, or if I was just making it up, but it turns out that's actually movie specific. It doesn't show up in any of her game outfits. However, I added it into my version of her design because it provides a more equal balance of darker design elements, which helps for contrast and readability. I gave her some more noticeable makeup, with some pink eyeshadow and blush centered on her cheeks, and I added a couple extra details to her dress to make it more royal and regal. However, not so much as the furly detailed version that her Smash design has, because to be honest, I don't really like her Smash design that much. Something about it just doesn't really feel quite right. I also equipped Peach with her parasol, with the change that it has the mushroom pattern on it as well, because an umbrella has a lot of potential to look like a mushroom. When I drew her eyes, I gave her little heart-shaped highlights, just as a stylistic choice. I made her skirt a bit more wide and round, so it feels almost Cinderella-esque, or like her wedding dress in Mario Odyssey. During my initial sketches, I thought about maybe having her hair up in the ponytail that she wears sometimes, but I decided against it because the hair down suits her better. I really want to try and convey the sense of her feeling feminine and regal, because make no mistake, people can be pretty pink princesses and girl bosses at the same time. I don't hate how she was interpreted in the movie, but they could have done a better job of keeping her original game personality, even if she wasn't the one being rescued. Also, for all these redesigns, I'm doing a certain art style that I've been experimenting more with lately where I apply all the colors and then use a single multiply for a single, solid shadow instead of shading each color individually. It's a bit easier and makes all the colors and shading feel more uniform. For this drawing, I made the shadows more pink tone for obvious reasons. So here is my redesign of Peach. Like I said, I didn't want to alter her too much because there are a lot of things about her design that I really like, but I also wanted to change and add a few things to make her better seem like the royal, feminine, mushroom princess that she is. Tell me if you like my interpretation of her down in the comments, but for now it's time to move on to our second princess, Daisy. Out of all three princesses, Daisy may have been the one that I changed the most. I already mentioned before how her outfit is incredibly similar to Peach, so I wanted to give her some more differentiating traits and lean into the ones that she already has. Daisy, at least to me, seems like the kind of girl to have a very sporty energy, where she likes to go out and play tennis and golf all the time. So I made her outfit have a shorter, knee-length skirt that's sort of reminiscent of her older Mario sports outfits, with the white belt that goes with it, because I really like that part of her old design. And something about the shorter skirt just feels like it lends itself more to her outgoing personality. I don't really know what it is. It also gives some more interest to her silhouette that contrasts to Peach. Instead of heels, I gave her the sneakers she wears with her sports outfits, as well as some tall socks. I like a lot of the flower petal motifs that she already has, like her collar and gem, so I kept a lot of those, and I leaned more into the skirt having that double-layered flower look that makes it look like a daisy itself. I'm a big fan of the short white gloves that the existing design has, so those get to stay. Her hair remains mostly the same, aside from making it a bit shorter and closer to shoulder length. And if you don't know, her bangs are shaped like Luigi's mustache. And she has the same crown, aside from the fact that I made it bronze, since Peach gets to have gold and Rosalina gets to have silver. The bronze also pairs nicely with her overall very warm color scheme. Her green jewelry provides some nice little highlights to her sunny color palette, which is something that all three of the princesses have. And I have to give the original designers credit because that's a nice design choice. I tried to give her a bit more of an athletic body type, but it's sort of hard to see under the dress. She is a little bit shorter than Peach though. I also opted to give her a bit of a darker skin tone, which, I know. Race swapping is controversial, but I did this for a few reasons. A. Daisy has already had a tanner skin tone in the past, and she was gradually lightened over time. B. It makes a lot of sense from a lore standpoint, because she is the princess of a desert kingdom, which logically means she would have darker skin, and C. It looks better with the yellow of her dress and helps differentiate her from the other princesses, so I say it works just fine to do this. Also, considering how pretty much the entire Mario cast has blue eyes, I made her eyes brown as well to give some variety. She has a little bit less of a heavy makeup look than Peach does, and instead I gave her some freckles, because that's cute. And when designing the outfit, I thought a little bit about cutting off the sleeves in a way that's sort of reminiscent of Peach's vacation outfit in Super Mario Sunshine, but I decided that the puffy sleeves worked better with her overall design. The color I decided to use for the shading was a bit of a warmer pink color to match with Daisy's very warm and sunny look. And finally, to keep with the theme of the stylus highlights, I made the highlights in Daisy's eyes look like tiny little flowers. So here is my final redesign for Daisy. I think I did a good job at making her look a lot more different than Peach, and I honestly really like her energy. Her original design is already great, but I personally think this does a better job at really embodying her personality. But you tell me what you think of my interpretation of her down in the comments. Now it's time for the final redesign, Rosalina. I must confess that Princess Rosalina is probably my favorite, and she has been for a really long time. Peach has a very royal, classic princess look to her, Daisy has a very bright and sunny energy about her, but Rosalina is very elegant and almost ethereal, like a goddess of the stars. I really wanted to lean into that here. One of the first things I thought when considering a redesign for her was that she deserved a cape, and the cape needed to look like a little pocket into the night sky. One of my favorite design tropes is a cape that looks plain and simplistic on the outside, but has something really cool on the inside layer, so that's what I chose to do here. I also know that her Aurora Borealis outfit is well loved and it is pretty creative, so I wanted to merge that outfit with her classic one by adding the Aurora Borealis waves onto the underside of her skirt. With that element of her outfit in addition to the cape, she really feels like she embodies the night sky. This is a bit of a side tangent, but has anyone else really noticed how in the more recent games like Mario Kart that they're making Rosalina to be more happy and energetic like Peach and Daisy, even though she's meant to be more gentle and subdued? I don't know, just something that I've been noticing. I knew I wanted her to be taller than the other two princesses, since she already is within canon, but since Princess Peach already took up the entirety of the canvas, I had to size up Rosalina's a little bit. It didn't make the aspect ratio a bit wonky, but it works. I made her crown into more of a tall silver tiara to match her long and elegant silhouette, and I've also been giving each of the princesses slightly distinct hair textures, with Peach's being more angular like in the game, Daisy's being more rounded out, and now Rosalina having almost swirly, curvy hair. I added a little star pattern onto the end of her skirt that she has in Super Smash Bros, and I made her sleeves a little bit bigger so that they could be draped around her arms like a long flowing gown. I also added a bit of a collar to the dress to sort of give the impression like it's being hung from her neck and down around her shoulders. It occurs to me that I probably could have done a little bit more with her dress than that, but it already suits her pretty well and is different from the other princesses, so I kept it mostly the same. I did also try to give her the more curvy body type that she's shown to have, but again, it's hard to see under her long skirt. Whilst her classic design is mainly blue, I decided to bring in some more purple accents, since I like the purple and teal when they're paired together. Her lipstick and eyeshadow is purple, and her skin has a much cooler tone in comparison to Peach's. I also slightly changed her eye color from the more vibrant sky blue that is common among Mario characters into more of a deep indigo, and highlight in her eyes a little star. And I'm just gonna say, they did Rosalina dirty in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Nothing about her interpretation is really bad per se, but she deserved to have much more than like the 15 minutes of screen time that she got. I like the first Mario movie, but the second one is just ridiculous, I'm sorry. Also, when making this design, I'm not really keeping in mind the new lore of her and Peach being sisters in mind. In my opinion, that lore is only canon to the movies and not to the games. So here is my final redesign for Rosalina. Even though I didn't really change much with her outfit, I still think this has a much more of an ethereal vibe to it. And here's the final lineup of all the princesses. I suppose this is a little less of a full redesign and more so taking what's already there and just adding on my own ideas to it. But still, it was fun to try, and I hope it was fun to watch. If you like my interpretations of these characters, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video. I'm still a small creator, so engagement like this helps out a lot. And if you like this video, I could try and do more redesign stuff in the future. I'm gonna need some new video ideas since I'm back to making weekly uploads. But anyway, that's enough of my yapping. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to keep on creating.